The false consensus effect. There's a quiet comfort the mind reaches for. We want to feel right. The belief that others think like you, that your view is common, that your reaction is shared. And when disagreement appears, it feels strange, almost unreasonable. This is the false consensus effect, the psychological tendency to overestimate how widely our beliefs, values, and behaviors are shared by others. 1. When personal belief feels universal, the false consensus effect occurs. When we assume our perspective is the norm. If I think this way, others probably do too. If I feel this, it must be common. If I would act like this, most people would. The mind turns personal experience into assumed majority. 2. Why the brain seeks agreement. From a psychological standpoint, agreement feels safe. Shared belief reduces uncertainty. It affirms identity. It lowers social risk. If others think like me, then I belong. So the brain quietly inflates consensus to protect coherence, not because it is accurate, but because it is comforting. 3. Identity and the need to be normal. Beliefs are not just opinions. They are extensions of identity. To believe something unpopular is to risk isolation. So the mind resolves this tension by assuming popularity. I can't be the only one. This is just common sense. Most people agree. Consensus becomes psychological armor. 4. Selective exposure and echoes. The false consensus effect is reinforced by selective environments. People surround themselves with like-minded voices. Algorithms amplify similarity. Social circles reflect preference. Disagreement fades from view, and absence is mistaken for agreement. 5. How this distorts judgment. When consensus is assumed, curiosity declines. Opposing views feel extreme. Criticism feels hostile. Questions feel unnecessary. The mind stops asking, why do they think differently? And starts asking, what's wrong with them? 6. Conflict without understanding. The false consensus effect intensifies conflict. Each side believes their position is obvious. Misunderstanding deepens because no one recognizes how different perspectives truly are. Dialogue collapses into certainty, and certainty resists learning. 7. Moral blind spots. This effect becomes dangerous when it shapes moral judgment. If everyone agrees, then dissent feels unethical. Responsibility shifts from reflection to assumption. Moral confidence grows without moral examination. 8. Everyday examples. You see the false consensus effect when you assume silence means agreement. You are surprised by disagreement. You dismiss opposing views as rare or irrational. You feel shocked by outcomes that contradict expectations. Reality intrudes and feels unfair. 9. Interrupting the illusion. The false consensus effect weakens when humility enters. Ask, how do I know others think this? Who is missing from my perspective? What would surprise me if I listened? Difference is not deviation. It is data. 10. Responsibility beyond assumption. The false consensus effect reveals a quiet truth. The mind confuses familiarity with universality. But responsibility requires curiosity. This is Ethiax, where psychology meets responsibility, and responsibility begins when agreement is no longer assumed, but explored.